Good evening and welcome. Welcome to my live stream. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and tonight we have a topic: fighting CPS and stop taking our children. That's right, fight CPS. It's a government entity that I call the Child Protection Systems. It's located in every county, in every state, and worldwide. This is the international live stream. And so far, I've talked to 22 countries and all 50 U.S. states. I've talked to over 1,000 and over 1,500 people. That's over 1,500 people. One thing they all have in common, they have a bad case of CPS. I, too, was a victim of CPS. I lost everything. And it's a hard thing to do when you fight CPS. Fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. You need a professional. You need a high specialized doctor. But in this field, it's called a lawyer. And this lawyer's got to be trained in the area of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. That's the kind of attorney you need to fight CPS. Now, not all CPS are bad, but the ones I've encountered and the other 1,000, over 500 some people I've encountered are bad. And just hearing the horrific stories this morning constantly by my family, a lot of these people are just have called in and become part of my family. Everybody that calls in, likes this live stream. It's an open forum discussion. You can ask and text a comment to me. To text a comment or a question, it should involve or pertain to CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, the state, and if you're outside the United States, your country. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from beginning to where you're at the moment. And I will try to help you as best as I can. Now, another way of interacting this podcast is to be a guest. To be a guest on this live stream, all you have to do is email my show producer. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com with the date and time you want to be on our show. Now, I'm on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. And on the weekends, I'm on at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then in the evenings, I'm on every evening at 7 p.m., Monday through Sunday. Again, that's all Pacific Standard Time. And I love to help you. To be a guest, it's nice because we have a whole bunch of people who can talk at one time. Now, the third way to interact with this live stream is to call in. Now, the call in, my number is 626-698-0990. And I'll connect you to my phone and you can actually speak on the show and tell about your case, and I can help you there. The only disadvantage of the phone is we can only have one person talk at a time. If you're a guest, I can have 9 of you. Furthermore, if you're a guest or you talk on the phone, you qualify for a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis, one of the top CPS fighters in the country. And he will help you get your children back. He has 39 years of fighting CPS. He's gotten back thousands of children. He is schooled in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. And he's available. In fact, I have the office number on the screen, 888-888-6582. And there you can call the office, speak to reception. Make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, make sure you say that Bob Pace sent you. And so there you go. I can offer you an attorney right now that can take your case. He works in any states. He's very knowledgeable, and he's like a pit bull. He's very aggressive, but he's a very kind man. Now, along with me having live streams, he has live streams. He has a show at 6:30 in the morning. He's starting a specialized dinner where he takes 4 people on a Zoom meeting um, as a dinner guest. So you get more personal level with him. And you call 310-308-7758 to get more details. Now, I hope you all are taking notes. And there's several people in the room. Welcome. There are 7 rooms, and then the 8th room is this YouTube room. This room here on YouTube is called CPS in the show. Who just came in here. Hello there. Okay, that's a nice greeting there. I know about Jesus Christ, but we're here to talk about the child protection system. Can you tell me about your CPS case and where you're from? Again, I encourage all people to text a message, but it should be geared to CPS. I'm here to help you. So you need to qualify. Also, please show your location, either your city or county, followed by the state, and you're outside the state, followed by your country. Now, a couple other things here too. There is a website. See if I CPS :// then it's stand.store/attorney VWD. There you'll find a whole list of guides and books about CPS, and you can purchase them. Also, you see special deals on consultation with Mr. Davis. So that's a real important website. And we have one of our newest books out that's just recently been talked about. And it's called The Grandparents Guide, Step by Step, how to adopt your grandchildren, how to get guardianship of your grandchildren. And grandparents are just as important as moms and dads. All kinship is. In fact, just recently at the first of the year, Congress made some drastic changes, and one of them was kinship care. Kinship can be family members. So anyway, there's a guide there. You get it at the Stand store, or you can call in that number 888-888-6582, and you can get it there. Now, I have a discount code for that book. The book normally is $9.99, but you can get half off if you use my discount code. It's capital P, capital A, capital C, capital E, PACE, P-A-C-E, and the number 50. That'll get you 50% off that book. Now, another website that's really beneficial is, let me see where it went. Here it is VincentWDavis.com. That'll take you to the main website and all about his law firm. So you should check out that website, https:// vincentwdavis.com. So that's up there too. Now, I also have another deal that you can get 60 minutes of a 30-minute private Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis. All you have to do is go to the website, candidly.com/apptsvwd/Bob Pace. Don't forget to put the HTTPS : in front of Candidly. But that's a pretty good deal. You can talk to him for 30 minutes for 60. But the best deal is if you make a phone call or a guest on my live stream, you'll qualify for a free 15-minute private one-on-one Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis. That's all you have to do is to be on as a guest or to call in and talk to me. And that will then help out Mr. Davis and help you guys out too. So now I'd like to go back to my phone number. We got sidetracked a little bit here. And I see if there's any more comments in here. I'm still waiting for some comments from some of the regular people. Now, I have 5 rules that I've come up with that will help protect you all and not make the same mistakes I did. You have to remember you're dealing with an entity that has no scruples. It's not transparent. You're like Alice in Wonderland, not knowing where you're going. It's really strange. The CPS system has become. Not all CPS are bad, but there's a lot of them that have turned rogue, and they do nothing but and I'm sure that my family members here will certainly talk about it. Now, the 5 rules that I had, I wish I had known them before my case was involved in CPS. Is rule 1 is hire an attorney. That is so important. Some of you may say, "Oh, I got an attorney. It's a case appointed or court appointed legal experience." The only experience they have is legal matters, meaning criminal attorneys. So that's not what you need. Again, it's a juvenile family law dependency attorney. There's 3 areas: juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. They all go together. And again, I want to reach out to now, I've been looking for news articles lately, and so I'm trying to change the format here. Since we have nobody that wants to talk at the moment, hopefully someone will talk. But anyway, I want to see what the latest news is out on the child protection systems, CPS. Now, child abuse victims push for a DBS check reform. Now, what is DBS? Um, okay, the DBS system is called the Disclosure and Barring Service. A woman from Telford whose father raped her when she was a child is calling for a reform of the Disclosure and Barring Service. It's called DBS after father transitioned while in prison. Sarah Lee Galvin's father, who was then known as Clyde Bundy, was given a 15-year extended sentence with 10 years and 6 months in prison for abusing Mrs. Galvin. Her father came out while in prison as a trans woman under the new name of Claire Fox and was released from prison in 2023. Oh my goodness, this is an unusual case. While there's no suggestion that Fox release, Mrs. Galvin is concerned that the process may not flag the crimes previously committed by her father. Ms. Galvin believes that the current DBS system is not robust enough to protect people from dangerous criminals like her father, who has a new identity, and that the threat of further convictions for failing to disclose previous names would not deter criminals from doing so. Miss Galvin has waived her anonymity as a victim of sexual abuse because of these fears, as well as wanting to be a positive example to other survivors of abuse. She told the BBC it might be a criminal offense to not disclose the fact that you changed your name and you got a new birth certificate because you changed your gender under the gender recognition certificate. However, this is a convicted criminal who has for many years broken a law that he did not have any. Now, DBS checks are a record of an individual's criminal convictions are used by employers and organizations to assess a person's suitability for a particular job or position. There are requirements in many roles, particularly for people in contact with children or vulnerable people. Offenders are legally required to disclose any previous names they've lived under, but failure to do so could result in the offense linked to a previous identity not appearing during a check. Ms. Galvin has faced accusations of transphobia online, something she rejected. She said she wanted to help the trans community too. This man beat my little brother black and blue. He neglected us as children. He was a violent, you see. She added there were so many ways in which someone like her father could take hold of a very vulnerable group in society and abuse it and use it for his own gain, which is what he did to me as a child. I'm just trying to protect people because I was never protected, she added. Miss Galvin has suffered sexual abuse at the hands of her father for as long as she can remember. He said, it was the whole kind of text, I love you. Nobody else does. We'll run away together. We'll be happy. As a child, you fed these things from day one. As she grew older, he threatened to turn the abuse on her younger sister if she did not cooperate. Eventually, police uncovered what was happening when they found images of Ms. Galvin that her father had been sharing with other um, pedophiles online. Her father was convicted of 4 counts of sexual activity with a child and 2 counts of distributing indecent images of a child. The Ministry of Judges in the MOJ said the risk of offenders changing their identity was mitigated by court orders. Intelligence sharing between organizations such as agencies, and the data was checked both manually and through the use of lithograms during the application process. However, Labor MP for Telfer Sean Devines believes the system needs to become more robust and said the government would take action. The whole DBS system needs to be reviewed, and that's what the government is committed to doing to ensure the bill that's going through Parliament will put a legal duty on offenders having to update their name to both the police and the probation service. Not to change their names and then tell authorities they had to do it in advance. The MOJ added that the criminal justice bill will allow the police to restrict a sex offender's ability to make changes to the name. So this is really a sad and this was in England because this is very British. Tribes seek foster care for kids in need, but strained resources lead some to group homes. Now there was a lady who was brutally dismembered and killed. She was a Apache woman, and this relates to it, I guess, somewhat to it. In the weeks after the brooding slaying of Emily Pike, the 14-year-old San Carlos Apache girl went missing from a group home in Mesa, some child welfare experts says the system meant to protect Native kids in need is faltering due to the lack of foster homes or kinship care options. Some experts and young people have experienced foster care in group homes agree behavioral fragile youth, but believe their use should be sparing and limited. Tribes challenge to support families in crisis and kids in need of care even more challenging to serve vulnerable people after the Trump administration budget cuts. Tribes whose social services agency run low on resources send kids to the state for care, and many of those kids end up in group homes. Now, foster care agencies say they encounter for some of those kids. Now, my kids were in group home and it was terrible. It was terrible. That leaves individuals to carry some of the burden, like the mother who helps train and supports other foster parents, and the adoptive dad who brought a troubled 8-year-old boy home more than 30 years ago. David said he writer known for his television work. When he moved in, it was a venture for both of us. We just fit together very, very well. I'm going to come back to the live stream. I've been talking. I want to see. Great. We have Debbie Williams that come into the room. Hello, Debbie. And she says the federal government gave CASA more money. The money that they may be referring to is the beginning of the year. On a Saturday, President Biden signed into law a new change in the health care system. And one of the things was they're going to get $75 million more. I don't think we need to give more money to the system unless they have checks and balances, because there's a lot of abuse in the system. And the federal government gave CASA more money. Well, I don't know if that's a good idea, Debbie. And Debbie, can you please tell me what part of the world you're from? And if you have a case. Good evening, Felicia. There's one of my family members in the room. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you. And thank you for calling me Uncle Bob. Cruel, who's a YouTube listener there, her real name is Felicia, and she's from Ventura, California. And she has a horrible case where her family members are trying to oust her out of her home, her and her mother. Her mother owns the home, but she's so ill, and they're taking advantage of that and trying to oust everybody out. It's really sad what's going on there. And Felicia has told us so. Our prayers are out to you, Felicia. Anyway, I've been talking about the latest news on CPS. Does anyone have any comments or questions they would like to ask me? All you have to do is text it. Because I have right now 22 countries and 50 states that have all participated in CPS and talked in this room here. So I'm waiting for a response from somebody there. We had our first person there, Neri, but I think he got lost a little bit. I haven't heard anything further. He didn't tell me where he's from. Now, I want to really help you guys, but you're going to have to help yourselves by asking me questions. Either text me a message about a comment or a question about your CPS case, and I'll help you. We're here about CPS. So you can text me a question or a comment, and I'll address it and see how we can help you. Okay, I guess I'll go back to reading more articles. I was hoping someone had me a question here. We're here talking about Apache tribe who lost a 14-year-old tribe member due to no protection by CPS. They're brutally dismembered and left for dead, and she was only 14 years old. Now, foster care agents say they encountered a prospecting foster and adoptive parents who refer young children or infants, believing that older children would be disruptive and even dangerous to young family members. That can leave group homes as one of the few options for some of those kids. That leaves individuals to carry some of the burden, like the mother who helps train and supports other foster parents, and the adoptive dad who bought a troubled 8-year-old boy home more than 30 years ago. David Yurz says he prefers an older child because they already have personalities and feel a lack of loving, stable home more than infants or toddlers. An older child felt more appropriate to me, said Gerald, a writer known for his television work. When he moved in, it was a venture for both of us. We fit together very, very well. Now, Arizona has the highest rate of youth cared for in group homes and institutions. A practice node is Congregate Care. Nonprofit Foster Alliance Arizona and Children Action Alliance says the state houses 7% of all kids it cares for in out of home system in group homes, and 11% of the children aged 12 and under are housed in these institutions. The national average is 3%. A report by the Children's Bureau and Office Youth Department of Health and Human Service found that children in out of home care, such as foster care or congregate care, including group homes or such institution care settings, are at risk to fall prey to human traffickers. Hard statistics are hard to come by, but in 2021, an estimated 19% of the children reported to the Regional Center for Missing and Exploited Children are missing from foster care or trafficked into sex work. Now, there was an interview in 2019 where Verla Nashhoya looks that sex patrons perceive as Asian or Hispanic, she says. We can look like anything. Nashhoya, a member of the Hopi tribe, is the missing and the murder Indigenous person coordinator in the Arizona Government Office of Tribal Relationships. TJ said they fear for the safety of certain kids who ran away from the group homes they had lived in as a teenager because of Arizona's reputation as a hotspot for trafficking. It is easy to move around the state, she said. When those people went AWOL and we wouldn't hear from them, that'd be a serious concern, a real scary thing to hear about. Many tribes are hard-pressed to address families and kids in crisis. Health programs, including behavioral health and social service, have long been unfounded. Both tribes and tribal health organizations are worried about proposed restructuring of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that at least one organization fears could cut essential grants and personnel. The cabinet level agency oversees the funds, the tribal health programs, as well as the Indian Health Service. It also manages tribal set aside and tribal liaisons to a variety of agencies, including the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service known as SAMHSA and the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the CDC, the NIH, and other programs. Let me go back to my live stream here. Let's see what's being said out here. Now, oh boy. Cruel Nell says her mom she hasn't seen for a while. Not sure how she's done. Well, you did talk to her about the other day. Where did she go? Who took her? I mean, you guys aren't in your home. I heard that your brother is taking your home away from you and your mom, his mom, I guess. Now, Cruz said the remitter is supposed to have been published on the 21st of this month. Do you know if I'm still able to appeal or file a writ? Well, sure, you can file appeal or writ. What is this thing called the 21st of the month? What is remitter? That the 21st of this month, which is already passed. Can you explain a little bit cruel to me, Felicia? That'd be much appreciated. Now we're 35 minutes into this live show, and I'd love to hear from you. I love to hear from you. My phone is on. It is live. Hmm. Yeah, that's true, Cruel. I've said that before. You have to have your case closed before you do a lawsuit. If your case is still open, you can't do a lawsuit. That's true there. So I'm going to go back to my page. We were talking about the Native American Indians in Arizona, and we're talking about the Apache tribe and how bad the group homes are. My kids were in group home. It was terrible. Now, the National Indian Health Board is one such organization. On April 1st, the board sent a letter to HS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. requesting that tribes be consulted about HHS plans and the impact they could have on the tribal nations. Now, about group home residence, I didn't know where I was or how long I'd be there. Foster knows that foster and congregate care systems well after spending time in a group home and later in a foster home in their middle teen youth. Fowler, had been in foster care. Fowler, 27, is a youth leader at Foster's Advocate Arizona, which is housed at Supporting by Children Action Alliance to raise the voice of young adults who've experienced foster care. I entered a group home at age 15, said Fowler, a citizen of the Navajo Nation. They've been living in the East Valley, but were placed in group home in the far Northwest Valley. They had no way to contact their friends or even know what part of the county they're in. They were assigned a bed, but received no information about how long they'd be there. Fowler dealt with not knowing how to reach their friends or siblings, and with a revolving door of staff, the stress of a new high school, and hearing other kids crying at night because of their own situation. But they admitted it could have been worse. Some girls show up with a few things in a trash bag, Fowler said. They're lucky to have a caseworker who worked to build a relationship. Eventually, one of Fowler's friends was able to contact him. Later, the foster home that had been caring for Fowler's siblings took them in, reuniting the kids. Fowler now advocates for transition youth to extended foster care settings, which they said was a better option for positive affirmative care on a personal level. They also present to groups about the Foster Care Bill of Rights to help youth understand their rights and how to advocate for themselves. We know that youth that experience congregational care tend to have poor outcome in life, Farrar said. But if you place the kiddos in a loving setting and put the work in to serve their needs, they will find success and they will find growth. Now, Emily Price, who's a Apache woman, ran away to see her families and friends, but somehow she was caught and she was dismembered. Emily Pike just wanted to go home. The 14-year-old was homeschooled for was homesick for her friends and family on the San Carlos Apache Reservation, where she walked away from a Mesa group home for girls in January. She just missed her family. It was that simple. Elizabeth Morales, the group home operator, said, "Did I think she was running away because she was afraid? No. Was she gone and planning on going for good? No. It was known if Emily made it home or how close she got. On February 14th, more than 2 weeks after she reported missing, her dismembered remains were found in a pair of heavy duty trash bags on a forest road 25 miles northwest of her family's home. All I see is her smile. That's all I see is her smile," Morris said in an exclusive interview about Emily, the Arizona Republican. Emily was extremely sweet. Everything Emily had to say came from her smile. Meanwhile, at times, Chokenbag Sop spoke about Emily's time at the group home, the life she was living there, and her past attempted to run away. Morales also addressed reports that 30 children have gone missing from the home. They're all unaccounted for. Lockdowns and child restraints, they aren't used. And rumors about cults, false. Blood sacrifices, ridiculous. And vampirism, yes, that too. Proliferating the internet that have compounded the trauma of Emily's death. We're not a cult. We're not sucking the blood from children. We're not abusing our children, Morales says. I heard it all, and we have, and so have my children. It's scary. The kids already have anxiety. They have trauma. That's something out in left field. Morales operates at least 3 group homes in Arizona, records show. Her company's website was taken down in mid March and remains offline. She asked the Republic not to publish the name of the company to protect the safety of children. Morales says protesters, fueled by social media rumors in March, targeted another group home mistakenly identified as Emily's residence. San Carlos Apache tribe leaders on March 24th publicly named Morales' company and requested a state review of licensing requirements for all residential care facilities. The tribe had placed children in Arizona group homes for years, including the ones run by Morales. San Carlos Apache leaders who asked for separate investigations into Emily's unauthorized departure. Morales says she was confident any investigation would clear their company. The group home is located near Mesa Drive and McKellips Road. Video surveillance cameras captured images of Emily after she left, but authorities says not where. Morales acknowledges kids frequently run away, but she says they've always been found. Emily was the first child to be killed in the 24 years Morales has run group homes. Morales says she, her staff, the kids in the care facility are still reeling from Emily's killing and likely be for years to come. I always tell my kids, when you step out of these doors, we can't see you, we can't protect you, she said. We need to be able to protect you. Troubled family life landed Emily Pike in Mesa's group home. Emily would have turned 15 in May. She was growing up hard with a broken family, behavioral issues that police said require antidepressants. San Carlos Apache Tribe Social Service first removed Emily from a home on the reservation in 2022 when she was 11 or 12. They placed her with Morales in 2023. Kids in that home have the freedom to come and go, but the time is structured and monitored. They can attend school, go out with friends, and participate in extracurricular activities as long as they adhere to a schedule. Emily ran away and came back 4 times. 3 times Mississippi police picked her up, and another time she returned on her own. The teen told officers who didn't want to be there, according to police report. She complained of how being made to scrub walls and said conflicts among staff and residents upset her. On the reservation, Emily had people she was close to, particularly her cousins, but she didn't have stability. She lived with her brother, her mother, her grandmother, aunts, and others in Peridot. A relative says the small house was crowded, frenetic, and not necessarily happy. Her parents were long separated. Her father was in and out of prison, most recently on an arson-related charges. Her mother had custody, but relatives said she wasn't always there for her daughter. Even in their shared grief, the two sides of the family remain at odds, with each planning separate memorial services for Emily. Family and friends said Emily confronted challenges with a radiant smile. They described her as a kind of gentle, soft-spoken, and creative. She was smart and got good grades and was learning to play guitar. She looked forward to college and helped to pursue art, one of her many passions. We wanted much more for herself, Emily's cousins, Alyssa Desez said. Flyers passed out at Virgil's after her body was found said Emily had recently discovered makeup and thought everything else needed a little bit more glitter. Her favorite color was pink, but she loved anything colorful. She had a cat, and when it died, she begged her family for a new one. Relatives described her as a fairy like a Tinkerbell who fluttered around and added a bit of sparkle to those she touched. Emily's story is going to live on, said Alfred Pike Jr., Emily's uncle. All the pictures you see her smile, it tells me she never gave up and she still had hope. Emily's death prompts action from advocates. Authorities have not made any arrests in Emily's killing. No suspects have been identified. The Gailey County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the San Carlos Apache Police Department, and the Mesa Police Department are part of a task force on catching Emily's killer. Emily ran away by climbing out of her bedroom window, as she had a few times before. According to Mesa Police, she did not have a cell phone. They were not allowed in the group home. Police checked locations, a park, a Mesa teen center where Emily had been found before. Her family and tribal caseworkers had no contact with her after she left the group home. Then a hiker found 2 black trash bags on the forest road about 100 miles away from the group home. At least one of the bags was found open, authorities said. Emily's family said the torso and her head was found in one bag and her legs in another. Her hands and arms were missing. On February 22nd, the Gila County Sheriff's Office posted an internal bulletin describing Emily's body and pictures of the trash bag. The department quickly removed the post, but word spread rapidly on social media along with screenshots of it. Emily's death set off an international firestorm of outrage over missing and murdered Indigenous women. Her smiling face became the latest symbol in the call for justice to their names. Tribal communities held marches and vigils. Women painted red handprints across their mouth and faces to represent the inability of victims to cry out. This should have been everywhere. I'm sorry it took this long to finally make noise, said Felicia Garcia, an artist who helped paint a large mural of Emily on a water tank in Peridot. The San Carlos Apache tribe on March 14th offered a $75,000 reward for information leading to arrest in Emily's case. The Gila County Sheriff's Office set up an online portal encouraging people to come forward with tips. Emily's case unheralded in the new support for an Arizona bill that would create alert systems similar to Amber Alert for missing Indigenous people or endangered adults. House Bill 2282 unanimously passed the House and Senate Public Safety Committee. It awaits a vote in the Senate. State lawmakers also pushed for an investigation into group homes. Morales said her group home followed all the protocol and went above and beyond the regulations in caring for Emily and other girls. She said the group home was operated so girls would feel if they were part of the family. She said Emily was thriving in the weeks before she ran away. We're not just housing a bunch of kids, Morales says. We operate like a home. We are a home. We are a family. We try to create as much of a normal environment as possible for our kids. "30 missing kids. All but one case is closed. All children accounted for." In their call for investigation of the circumstances of Emily's disappearance, San Carlos Apache leader said more than 30 children have run away from the same group home in the past 3 years. What happened to those other children? They were not 30 missing children. All were found according to records and interviews. Mesa police opened up 30 missing investigation involving 8 children from the group home since 2022. Some, like Emily, ran away multiple times. The department located all but one of the children and closed their cases. The remaining open cases involve a girl who is a few weeks away from her 18th birthday. Morales says she had talked to the girl's mother and that the girl's location was well known. The girl feared that if she came forward before her birthday, she would be picked up for the Department of Child Safety. The girl is fine, Morales says, adding detectives were aware of the situation. She's not missing. She doesn't trust that she's not going to be picked up. Mason police closed Emily's missing person case when her body was identified. I think that's enough talking about this sad case of Apache woman there. I like to hear what Cruel has said. Heard in the past, I'm unable to begin a civil case against the countywide employees till my CPS is closed. I don't know when it is. Okay, I'm so sorry, Cruel. That is the hardest thing for you to go through. Now, I have 5 minutes left, and my phone number is still up there, 626-698-0990. And I'd love to have someone call in. Now, real quickly, I go over my 5 rules to wind out this live show. One, get an attorney. If you don't have an attorney, find one. I have an attorney. He's one of your three people you should interview. You need to talk to three trained and licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. They need to have experience fighting CPS. So, what you need to do is wherever you live, you need to search the internet for these attorneys. Now, all you have to do is find two. I have one, Vincent Davis, that you can call. I already have his number up there. And he already qualifies for being one of the top CPS attorneys, fighters. But what you do is you do my rule number 4. You search by the location. You put in the city, the so what you're trying to do is find this person. I'm just thinking about that Apache woman 14. That's a hard thing to swallow. That really is. So anyway, going back to searching for an attorney, you type in the city, the state, and the country if you're outside the country, and then the letters CPS. Then to further research it, put in there juvenile law, family law, dependency attorneys. A bunch of them will pop up. You pick your two best ones by reading the information, and you're going to call them. It's very, very important. You talk to them. And so your first question is you ask them, have they had any bad kids from CPS? If the answer is yes, you need to ask the second question. After the case is closed, have you ever sued CPS both federal court or state court? And if the answer is yes, they want 86582 number and ask him for his references. And it's very, very important. It's very, very, very important. I don't know how important it really is. But that's how you find out. And you call Mr. 'Okay, we've talked about a heavy, heavy subject tonight. And I really want to thank you all for joining my room on a Sunday night here this evening. I want to thank Cruel, who's Felicia, for what you expressed and what you're trying to get answered. I'm here for you. Thank you for coming back all the time. Debbie Williams, thank you for coming here. I do not know where you're from, but I appreciate you coming and trying to ask a question. And Nurjit, thank you for your prayers at the beginning of the show. And I do thank you, but I have no idea where you're from. The rest of you, keep fighting, hanging on to your children, and good night.